add on to it. Okay, so Kay, can you unmute and share your story? And thank you so much for being on tonight.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, hi everybody. As you know, I'm Space Sister, and so I took the Optavia journey a few years ago. I was not feeling great. I was very sluggish. I had been thin my entire life, and I always worked out so I could eat whatever I wanted. And when I had my daughter, everything changed. And then as I got older, things changed more. And I found myself in a place I really didn't want to be. So, and I really didn't, I was skeptical about Optavia. That wasn't something that I really, I was skeptical, we'll say that. But then my sister, Aspasia, got on the program, and it was as if the weight was melting off of her. It was crazy, the results that she had. And she kept asking me to do it. And I kept saying, I will let you know when I want to do it. And it took a couple months, but I did do it. And I ended up losing 20 pounds, and it just put me on the right track. I just feel better. I'm back to working out. That's why I look the way I look tonight. I just got out of a class, and I've made my health my priority. And, it speaks for itself. When you feel good about yourself, everything else starts to improve. So Spay was an amazing coach, as you all know, whoever is working with her. She's compassionate. She's understands where everybody is coming from because she's been on this journey herself. It's been such a good experience that even my daughter is on Optavia now, and Aspasia's her coach. So, and she's had fabulous results. So, the one thing I don't know where everybody is in their journey. The one thing I would say is if you stick with it, it works. If you're going to cheat, if you're not going to stick with it, you're going to struggle. But you don't have to be on it long because the results are that great. So, what have I left out, Spag? Anything?
No, I think that was awesome, Kay. Thank you. You touched on so many of the salient points, especially that you were so skeptical about it. But then once you put your heart and mind into it, you did it, you followed it. And sure, there's times where you deviated a little bit, but you followed it and had great success. And the beauty of it is it's been 3 years and she's kept the weight off. Kay was so great about this because she not only did the weight loss part of it, but she did transition and optimization, which is so crucial to keeping the weight off. And she's practicing the habits of health, and she's a walking role model of how this program works and how effective it is. And I'm so grateful to her because she's such a great role model for not only her daughter, but my daughters too. So thank you so much, Kay, for sharing tonight.
You're welcome.
I appreciate
it. Having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kay.
Well, okay, so I am so grateful to Kay for being on this Zoom this evening where we're talking about It's All in the Family and how appropriate my sister and my husband is sitting next to me. So the reason why I called it It's All in the Family is I wanted to share how we can empower our circle to practice the habits of health, even if they're not on the program, which my husband is a perfect example because he's never done Optavia. So tonight, and the cool thing is that I don't know, like Jen said, if we've ever had a non-Optavian on the program. So it'll be interesting when you share what you have to share. But before I pass it over to Eric, I want to explain why I have him on here, but I wanted to share a little bit about my story so you can understand the segue. So I started this program 3 years ago too, and I was in a bad place in that I was gaining weight on top of the already gained weight that I had. And I called my friend Amy, who's a coach, and I didn't ask her any questions. Because I knew she was a health coach. I knew nothing about Optavia, and I was so desperate. I'm like, Amy, I trust you. I I don't know what it's all about, but just sign me up. And it was the best thing I ever did for my health, because I have struggled with my weight my entire life. And I've tried everything under the sun, every program there is. I've even done hypnosis. I mean, it was ridiculous. So 3 years ago, when I started the program, I didn't tell anybody in my family because I knew Kay would be skeptical. I knew my husband would be skeptical, and everybody would be like, oh my God, what are you doing again? So I started the program, and into my first week, nobody even knew, because we all go our separate ways during the day. And at night, I would just have a lean and green while they would have their lean and green with me, plus a carb like pasta or rice, whatever. So, but then 1 week into it, my husband found my stash of fuelings, and I was found. But guess what his reaction was, guys? Exactly what I thought. He was like, what is this? Another silver magic bullet? That's exactly what his words were. And I'm like, no. And I had been into it for a week. And I think my first week I lost 6 pounds. And I'm like, there is no way I'm stopping this. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how many people doubt it. I am so committed to this journey. Well, anyway, he has totally reversed his mindset about it. And now he's the biggest advocate for Optavia, because he understands the science behind it. And he realizes how it has helped myself, Kay, members of our family, friends, and it has truly been life-changing. And I am forever grateful to Amy, this community, Optavia, and also becoming a coach, because I personally understand the struggle and I love paying it forward and helping others. But it's also helped me so much to stay accountable, because there's no way I could fail on this if I am helping others and trying to be a role model for them. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a little bit of fluctuation with my weight, a few pounds here and there, but I know my goal is never, ever to go back gaining those 30 pounds ever again. So I am forever grateful, but I'm also so grateful to Kay, who's now my biggest support, and my husband, who is amazing with supporting this journey. So that's why I wanted to have Eric on the program, because I wanted everyone to understand that even though we're living and breathing Optavia right now while we're on this journey, we can be so impactful for other people who may not need to lose weight, but being healthy, especially now during this COVID world, it's more important than ever. So if we can empower our loved ones, our friends, to have a healthier life, why not? So without further ado, I'll let my husband say a few words. So Eric, here's the Optavia community.
Well, thanks for having me tonight. And yes, indeed, I never had to be on the program. I never was on the program because I never had to be on the program. I never needed to be on the program. Let's put it that way. For me, it's always been the opposite. I always try to gain weight.
Imagine that, guys. Oh my God.
But again, Optavia will tell you too that it's not just to lose weight, it's just to live a healthy lifestyle. But I was surrounded by a lot of people at work. I had quite a few employees that were always struggling with weight. And I had one person especially one person, he worked for me for 26 years. He actually just retired. And for 26 years, I've seen him like a yo-yo, a roller coaster. I mean, up and down. And if it was this diet, that diet, and his last diet, not being a diet, was actually with Spay and going on Optavia. He has since moved to South Carolina, but I just happened to see him this weekend, and he looks great. And it was all about the lifestyle change. And for Craig, that wasn't easy because he is not a great eater. He likes to eat a lot of bad stuff. But I saw him starting to take salads with proteins to work. And even though he wouldn't make them, he would purchase them somewhere. And we really started to see some major changes. And I think he lost 30 or 40 pounds in that journey. And there were many times to where I saw him lose it. And then he would be done with his diet, and 6 to 9 months, he would be back at where he was. And being a yo-yo like that for that many years, he is 72 today, is not a very good lifestyle. And so Having seen the program work myself, not only for Spay and for Kay, but also for Craig at work and some other people, I hear success stories that Spay has with her clients. For myself, it's eating healthy is because you feel healthier. So Spay and I are very much lean and green. That doesn't mean that after a big swim or a workout, I don't add roasted potatoes or something just because I need them. I don't know if I could ever do without carbs. I tried it one time for a week. I thought I was going to die. And I probably lost 10 pounds, which I really can't afford. So that's just the type of person I am. But a few things that you learn from this program is staying away from sugar. And it's not just that sugar will make you gain weight. Sugar just gives you a very unhealthy body. Your intestines, which is probably your most important thing to build an immune system and to stay healthy, they don't like sugar, and sugar does a lot of bad things to your flora that's in there and everything else. So the sugars. And this is what I love about the Optavia stuff, about going into ketosis without the sugar. And then if you cheat, you're almost going out of ketosis, and it's really fantastic. It's almost a really simple mechanism. It's just not very hard. It's just very hard for people to do. It's not so simple because they're used to the sugar, and sugar is super addictive. It's just or more addictive than most of the drugs that we have out on the streets in front of us. And a lot of people don't talk about it. And the people that do know it don't want to know it because they love sugar. Mm-hmm. The food industry is throwing it at us in any form and shape possible. Whoever thought that Hellmann's mayonnaise at one point would put sugar in it? Well, it's in there. And Dijon mustard, it has sugar in it. But none of these things started out with sugar. And it's really sad. And all these things are available without sugars. You just have to look for it. So the journey, I think the program is fantastic because it really teaches people to find balance. And it doesn't mean that you can eat nothing but salads. You don't have to live like a rabbit. No, you can drink a glass of wine. But as we, for instance, say, my outages are during the week. I don't drink alcohol, not only because I need to work the next day and I need to work out really hard, and it bothers me, especially as we're getting a little older. It just interferes with what the long-term picture has to be. And it's not about my weight. I don't care if I fluctuate 3 or 4 pounds. It is that if I eat that meal that I shouldn't have eaten with 2 or 3 glasses of wine or more, I feel like crap for 48 hours. And that's when you can, this is the most unbelievable thing of this program. Once you start feeling good and once you really start feeding yourself with the foods that you need to feed yourself, when you get off that train, you feel terrible. You'll know it right away. Your body will tell you. And I truly believe that this program is growing is because you have to let your clients, your people, let them feel it. That is, once they're successful, and you as a successful person already, when you go off that train that it gets bad again. So I love the program. I love that Spay does it. She loves to help people. We love our healthy lifestyle, and we also love to cheat, but then we go right back into balance. So please keep the fight on and say no to sugar. It's our enemy for sure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, honey. So there you have it, community. There's my sister and my husband. So I'm blessed. In the beginning, I had no support. I did it all on my own, but I am so grateful that they joined the bandwagon, if you will, and they too see the benefits of this program. It's remarkable. So my point of this whole Zoom this evening was to try to empower all of us to feel like we can not impose this on our loved ones and our friends, but we can share with them, because today, now more than ever, everyone has to get healthier. So even if they're not doing Optavia, just to share by example how to do that. So as most of you know, the Habits of Health is the educational component of the system of our program, right? And this book and Dr. Anderson's Habits of Health book are so instrumental in teaching us about the habits of health. And so most of you know there's 6 macro habits, right? There's the macro habit of getting to your healthy weight. There's the healthy habit of eating and hydration, having a healthy mind, healthy surroundings, healthy sleep, and healthy motion. Those are our 6 macro habits. But then you have all the little micro habits to get us to those macro habits, which is what we do when we start this program. We eat every 2 to 3 hours. We drink 64 ounces of water. We sleep 7 to 8 hours. We try to get some motion into our life. And while we're learning all that, those are the things that will stay with us forever in life so that we have this healthy lifestyle forever. So it's sustainable. And I don't know if you saw this week's newsletter, but it talked about also healthy motion. So there's 2 components to healthy motion. One is NEAT, which is non-exercise thermogenesis. And those are things that we can do where you're not thinking about putting on gym clothes and doing a workout. It's simple things like standing up when you're on a phone call, standing up when you're on a Zoom, or instead of taking the escalator or the elevator, you walk the steps. Or when you're going to any destination, you park as far away as you can. Or if you're watching television on a commercial break, you do a few sit-ups or a few squats. It sounds ridiculous, but those little changes in your life make such a difference. And then there's the other component of real exercise, which was addressed in the newsletter too, where once you feel healthier and better, you gradually bring exercise into your lifestyle. And hopefully you will keep it as part of your lifestyle. Like my sister's a perfect example. There's not a day that goes by that she tries to get to the gym every day. Does it always happen? No, but it's so on her radar and it's a part of her life now. And with that, we call that EAT, which is actual exercise. So those are the macro and micro habits, which all of us are basically practicing as we're on this journey. But the goal is for us to maintain all those macro and micro habits. So a few of the things, strategies to support your habits of health. Did you ever think about those moments when you want to grab something that you know we shouldn't be having, like it's not on the 5-in-1, and maybe we're thinking of doing the 5-in-1-ish? Or maybe I had a client who said, I just had my lean and green meal, but I just still want to keep eating when I'm done with my lean and green meal. Is he still hungry? No, but it's just habit. And so we talked about some of the strategies that you can go through, and this applies for all of us, that we can think about the word blast. So with that word, think about it. Are you bored? Are you lonely? Are you angry? Are you stressed? Are you tired? And then we can try Dr. Anderson's strategy of stop, challenge, choose. So you stop, you think about the choice you're going to make. Does it serve you on your journey to optimal health, or doesn't it? And hopefully once you take that pause, it'll bring you to the right decision. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. But hopefully as time goes on, you'll start thinking more and more and using that process. And then of course, there's Dr. Anderson's great website, thehabitsofhealth.com, which has just a plethora of information. So your healthy lifestyle is critical, not only while you're losing the weight, but to maintain your weight. So in living your healthy lifestyle, that can be transferred over to your circle. Would you agree that, and by a nod of your head, that it's so important for us to try to help others become healthier? Not that they have to do Optavia, but just to have that mindset and to think what they're doing to their body. So, and I'm not saying that we dictate what they should eat, what they shouldn't eat, whether they should work out, whether they shouldn't work out. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just, if you lead by example, it can make such a difference. So to give you some examples, I grew up in a family that food was love. And I grew up in a big Greek family, and there was never a shortage of food. And my mom was always like, have more, have more. My friends would always make fun because my mom was always like feeding them. But in any case, we have since modified. And so now when we have family gatherings, trust me, there's still plenty of food, but the choices have been modified. The portion sizes have been modified, and that's just one little tweak. Or let's say when it's Mother's Day, normally it would be like, oh, treating us to all these elaborate, wonderful meals. But now I say to my girls, let's go on a hike, and then we'll go out for a nice lean and green lunch. And if there's a little treat, sure, but we try to get right back on track after that treat. And then dining out, it's, so many people say dining out is so hard, but truly, once you get into the mindset and you think lean and green, it can be done. And do I want to have a glass of wine? Sure. But you know what? I can have a glass of Pellegrino, throw some ice in there with a lime, and then I feel like I'm having a cocktail instead. So you just use your vivid imagination. So by making healthy choices, you feel so good because you don't undo all the good that you've worked so hard for. And the same for influencing your loved ones and your friends. So I know I've gone off a little bit, but I wanted to take a moment to just say nothing is perfect. There will be slips. There will be times where we deviate, and that's okay. We're human, but we just get back on track. And as long as we rein it in, we stay focused, mindful, and aware, this truly can be a lifestyle change that can influence all the people in your circle. So I thank Kay and Eric for being here. I thank all of you for being on board tonight. I know everybody's busy, but thank you for taking the time to do this Zoom. But we have 2 minutes. So does anybody want to share how they've been able to transfer what they've learned, or if they've had any challenges with their circle while doing the program? And unmute yourself if you have anything to share. And if you don't, that's okay too.
Pam's got her hand up.
Okay, Pam.
My story is so much like yours where, I had to hide my first purchase of the box from my husband. I ran past him with my purse and ran into my closet and placed the order on the phone talking really low, because he had the same eye roll, like, what are you getting yourself into now? And then came the box with all the fuelings, and then I'm hanging them on the back of the door, and he's like, what the heck? And little by little, he saw the changes and saw and benefited from them and got on board too. So I totally relate to your story. And it's so funny because it was the same. And we just influence each other. We influence our loved ones, by our actions, and they just kind of follow suit. But I had asked him to do it with me, and he was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not eating that. But 2 weeks later, he got on plan with me. So you just never know, and that's how quick it worked and how much it was starting to show. And so it just speaks volumes of the plan and the influence you have on so many people. And yeah, I was glad he jumped on board. But I was just laughing because, I had the same experience, and it's pretty much going alone for the first couple of weeks.
Right. Exactly. Well, thank you for sharing, Pam. And I'm sure there's others who can probably say the same thing about their significant other or whatever, their family member in some way. But in any case, I know we've run out of time, but I am so grateful to all of you who have showed up tonight. And Jen, thank you for all you do for our team. We're so grateful. And just stay the course, Optivians. It's so worth it. Our health is so paramount right now more than ever. And if we can share, not necessarily Optavia as a journey, but if we could share the habits of health with our loved ones and our friends, it will make such a difference. So have a wonderful night, stay the course, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
If you're a coach, stay on because we're going to transition into our coach meeting. If you're a client, thank you for being on, and we appreciate you coming and spending time with us and learning about this wonderful thing that I think, Spade, this topic is just so key that you presented. And thank you, Kay and Eric.
Yes, thanks, sis. Eric had to run away, but I'll let him know. Thank you.
Okay, all right. We'll see you on the next call, all you
Thank
coaches.
you, guys.